This is home. Twin States News starts right now.
The Meridian Architectural Trust is hoping to inspire the community to invest in preserving historic districts and neighborhoods in Meridian. Twin States News' Jasmine Stevenson spoke with the organization's coordinator at the Crossroads Conference they held today.
Event coordinator Joyce Lane is hoping that through the Architectural Trust, Meridian will begin to build a strong sense of community.
Every community in this city is important, is valuable. Every house in this city is valuable. When you overlook a neighborhood, you overlook the people in it.
There are 6 historic residential districts in Meridian. Lane tells me that once someone comes forward from one of the districts and expresses that they would like to rebuild their community, the Architectural Trust will then begin to buy homes in that district, repair them, and then resell them.
When you preserve your historic districts, you create a livable community. One that takes pride in itself, one that picks up its own trash, one that plants its own flowers. That's what we look to do. We want everyone here across the board to join hands and become part of an effort to save our community.
The organization is not only looking to preserve history, but they are also hoping to build on the future.
Well, because it is our future. Our children, our grandchildren are going to either love it and stay or leave it. And if the next generation leaves, the community dies.
To find out more about Meridian's Architectural Trust, you can visit twinstates.news. Jasmine Stevenson, Twin States News, Meridian.
Vice President Kamala Harris visiting Mississippi today, where she met with local and business leaders in Greenville. The vice president toured a small embroidery shop hit hard by the pandemic. Vice President Harris heard from community members about the importance of having access to capital to launch a business and the role of community lenders providing this capital and other resources. The vice president has traveled the country to meet with small business owners to discuss challenges and opportunities they face. The Mississippi Department of Transportation is working to provide the homeless with a certified driver's license, also known as a CDL. The MDOT program is called DRIVE, and through it, housing assistance, job training, and employment will be provided after completion through the Transit Division.
Eventually, I think I want to go for the Class A, and get on the road, drive the big truck. It's rewarding, and especially, the patients that I met, I love talking to them. They love talking to me. It was very rewarding. I would encourage, people to do it. If you're thinking about driving, whether you want to get your Class A, your Class B, Class C, go ahead on and do it, because you get to meet a lot of people.
MDOT says the program was funded through a multi-million-dollar CARES Fund grant. Today, the Queen City recognizing one of its instructors with the Humanities Teacher of the Year at a local community college. Twin States News' Donisha Branham attended the event and spoke with the recipient.
The Meridian Community College hosted its annual Humanities Teacher of the Year Presentation Award. The Dean for University Transfer Education tells us the significance of the award.
We're here today to recognize Lacey Johnson as MCC's Humanities Teacher of the Year. This is an award sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. Part of the award is that she does a presentation, and so today we'll be viewing her presentation of the award.
Graham says that the presentations that the teachers get to present are an opportunity for them to see the quality and passion of their instructors.
I really appreciate the opportunity to recognize our faculty and to see what the students get to see on a daily basis, the quality of instructors that we have in the classroom.
The Humanities Teacher of the Year tells us what it means to her to receive this award.
Getting the Humanities Instructor of the Year or Teacher of the Year has been so wonderful. It's such an honor. It's something that I have always admired in other people who receive this award.
Receiving the Humanities Teacher of the Year award was very special and emotional, stated Johnson.
I received it. I literally cried, and it's just a wonderful thing to know that I'm a part of the humanities, which I have been all my life, and that I can express through the humanities a lot of stories and other things to my students. They learn from the humanities, and it's just a part of all of our lives. So being a part of this program and getting this award was something that was very good for me.
Donisha Branham, Twin States News, Meridian.
Tomorrow, Meridian Community College will have the Tanya Ocampo Memorial Walk at the Meridian Community College track. There will be vendor booths, breakfast, snacks, and t-shirts at the event. Registration begins at 8 a.m. to 8:25, and the walk begins at 9. In another sign of recovery, the country added 431,000 jobs in March as businesses keep up their hiring spree. But it comes with a steep price tag as stubborn inflation and high energy prices continue to weigh heavily on consumers. Madeline Rivera has the story from Washington.
The stock market making rebounds this morning with a positive jobs report showing more people are heading back to work. 431,000 jobs added in March, the unemployment rate dropping to 3.6%, down from 3.8% in February.
It's good news for our economy, and it means that our economy has gone from being on the mend to being on the move.
Several sectors are reporting strong gains. Retail, transportation, and construction numbers now at or above their levels in February 2020, before the pandemic battered the economy. Other industries like leisure and hospitality, manufacturing, and healthcare are still below.
We did see over 400,000 people entered back into the labor force in this report, and that is a really good sign. Unfortunately, I think it's being driven by the high inflation.
Despite the job growth, 74% of voters still think the economy is in bad shape. Wages are up by 5.6%, below the 7.9% inflation rate, showing raises are being wiped out by rising costs.
Month after month, people are losing money. Their income is actually declining in terms of what they can buy.
Skyrocketing gas prices continuing to fuel pessimism and frustration.
I would love to see these gas prices drop as soon as possible so that we can just get back to life as we know it.
And there are fears that the economy's growth could slow down as the Federal Reserve raises interest rates in an attempt to cool spending. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
A bill that would decriminalize marijuana at the federal level passed the House today. The Marijuana Opportunity, Reinvestment, and Expungement, or MORE Act, is sponsored by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerrold Nadler. Nadler stated the MORE Act would, quote, reverse decades of failed federal policies based on the criminalization of marijuana.
Marijuana is less dangerous than alcohol. People do not smoke marijuana and beat up their wives, or get angry and beat up others, or drive their cars in wildly dangerous conditions, fast speeds, and kill others.
The bill faces a tougher challenge in getting through the Senate. If passed, the MORE Act would remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act, or CSA's list of federally banned drugs. Russian officials accusing Ukraine of orchestrating an attack on an oil depot on Russian territory. Alex Hogan tells us this could cause a rift between the two countries who are still negotiating a peace deal.
Peace talks between Ukraine and Russia could soon be threatened after Moscow accused Ukrainian forces of attacking an oil depot about 30 miles from its border with Ukraine. If confirmed, this would be the first attack of its kind by Ukrainian forces inside Russian soil since the conflict began. The Kremlin is now threatening to walk out of the peace talks, with one Russian official saying, quote, this is not something that can be perceived as creating comfortable conditions for the continuation of negotiations. This comes at a crucial time as attempts are being made to create evacuation corridors for people trapped in cities along coastal Ukraine. On Friday, about 2,000 civilians were evacuated from the besieged city of Mariupol to other parts of the country. Officials this week have said that roughly 100,000 people remain trapped in Mariupol, and there are reports of Russian troops confiscating humanitarian aid. There's also no evidence that Russia is scaling back its military operations in the northern part of Ukraine outside of the capital.
What we see is that Russia continues to pursue a military outcome of the conflict in Ukraine. It is good that talks are going on, but so far we have seen no real change in the Russian main objective.
Neighboring countries like Poland are now pleading with the West to provide additional assistance for refugees who have escaped Ukraine.
We are still in great need of everything, so please don't stop, please don't give up. The Ukrainians really, really need our help.
Ukraine's chief negotiator says they will only sign a peace agreement once all Russian troops have left Ukraine. In Lviv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
The NYPD is searching for a gunman who shot and killed a 12-year-old boy in Brooklyn. The boy was sitting in the passenger seat inside a parked car with 2 other people when he was shot multiple times. This happened near East Flatbush at about 7:45 p.m. Thursday. The female 20-year-old driver was also shot multiple times and taken to Kings County Hospital. She is undergoing surgery and is expected to survive. The third passenger, an 8-year-old, was not harmed. The relationship between the 3 victims is unclear. Police are investigating the incident. A vigil was held Thursday night at Forestwood Park in Ferguson for Tyree Sampson. He's the 14-year-old who died on a ride last week in Orlando, Florida. Hundreds gathered to the park on Thursday, bringing balloons by the bunches to honor the middle schooler. Sampson fell from a thrill ride where the weight limit was about 287 pounds. Sampson's father said his son weighed about 325 pounds. Community members gathered with their balloons and let them fly into the sky all at once, giving the boy they called Big Tick a proper send-off. Still ahead tonight, a new CDC survey says the COVID pandemic has increased mental health problems among high schoolers.
We've invested $5.5 billion in programs that support mental health and well-being, including tens of millions for programs that specifically address youth mental health.
Coming up, what the Biden administration says it's doing to address what they're calling a crisis.